Online. Max and Phoebe Thunderman detected.
Jack and Kira, thank you so much for being here.
Thundermans reporting for duty.
The Thundermans return is such a huge, huge deal for those of us who are obsessed with the Thundermans. So talk to me a little bit about when the show ended. Did you think that you'd ever be playing those characters again? Or were you like, we're done, we're good?
Absolutely not.
I don't think so.
No, not in a million years. But also, to be fair, when the show started, we never thought we'd get 4 seasons and like
100 episodes.
100 more than 100 episodes. Right. Yeah, I mean, when the show ended, you know, we had really kind of done everything we wanted to do. We got to check a lot of boxes. Yeah. We crossed the 100. We did the movie episode. We really tied a neat little bow on it narratively, and we were really proud of what we had made. And we thought, okay, I guess it's time to move on and put that thing in the past. And for what it's worth, it was nice for us, I think, to both get to like go off and become real people after spending like ages 14 to 20 as these characters. But it's been all the sweeter for that to get to come back to it as adults now and come home. We're both having a great time with it.
And executive producers.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah, nice to have some control.
I never expected it, honestly. When the show ended,
really?
It felt like it was the end, you know. And then it came out on streamers, and there was a whole new demographic, a whole new audience, and little kids were starting to come up to me again. And it had been a while since like that age kids were coming up to us, and it felt like a resurgence, and it felt like new energy. And you know, it was maybe like maybe a year and a half later that we got the call that there was interest there.
Let the evil begin!
We have to get our jobs back. I know!
I was excited, but also I know Kira and I were wary because we were really proud of what we did. And
reboots can suck, man. Like,
yeah.
Straight up, reboots can totally
If we
suck.
were going to touch it, we wanted to add to it instead of take away. So we put a lot of thought and time into how we were going to do it.
As EPs, was the experience a lot different for you this time around with this part of it?
Yeah, definitely. Not a lot of sleep. It was a busy several months. I came in pretty strongly with some things that I felt very strongly about that needed to be considered, and I'm very lucky and grateful that those things were taken seriously and I was able to contribute in those ways. There were certain parts of the process that were just really, really great to be able to see up close and help out with. I really loved little things like getting to affect the design of the new sets or the super suits, casting some of the new people in the movie, you know, getting to like make sure that there were certain callbacks that stayed in and story points and the tone of the overall show and the comedy balance with the action.
It was a sense of being able to be in on everything.
Yeah.
You know, when we were doing the show as teenagers, we were ambitious and we wanted to be in on everything and know what the EPs were thinking and the writers were thinking. And they kind of like to keep actors doing their thing, you know, and keep them focused on their job at hand. And this time was different. You know, we got to be in Video Village. We got to hear what they were talking about and kind of give input on certain lines. And it was really, really cool and eye-opening. And, you know, you have an idea of what it takes to make a movie and make a show. But once you see it close up, it really brings a whole new appreciation for everybody around and all the effort put forward to make such an impactful thing for people.
You know, Kira, I'm going to come back to you, though, because I want to know what some of those things were that you had on your list when you came in.
Yeah, it's a hard thing I want to be honest about the way it all happened, but I also don't ever want to shade anyone because everybody who had a hand in the show ever was so wonderful. Like, we really, truly got so lucky. But I will say the original version that came to us was a dark, gritty, single cam movie reboot to be shot in Canada, probably, you know, like a movie in that way. And there's a chance that would have been really fun and cool. And had I been in a different place in my career and had we not had such a wonderful time shooting the Thundermans first time around, maybe I would have been comfortable going that direction. But I felt really strongly, also for the sake of the fans, that the movie should have the same feel as the show. And so my main big demand was that it was a multicam with a laugh track and that it felt like the original series and that we got to shoot it the way we shot the original. Got our favorite director on board, which was really great to have him there. Also, the creator of the show was not actually originally involved. It had come from a different part of the production. And so my first thing was like, you gotta loop him in. Like, he needs to be running this whole thing. He knows the show inside and out. He's so brilliant. He's so funny. We would have nothing without Jed Spingard. Like, he needs to be leading this charge. So that was another big kind of demand I had at the beginning. And the other really big one was that the earliest version was just Phoebe and Max, and we were off doing something, and I was like, no, it's not the Thundermans unless everybody comes back. So I'm glad, I'm really, really grateful that we were able to convince every single cast member to come back. Because it wouldn't have been the same otherwise, right?
That's so interesting to me because we're not going to mention any names, but there have been so many revivals where you're right. It's like they're like, oh, our audience is older. They want this. And it's like, no, our audience wants what we were doing and we are good at. And,
you bring up an interesting point with audience, too, because the other thing that we really were cognizant of was that we have kind of 3 different audiences. Like, we've got the original fans that we really, those are the ones that are like very near and dear to my heart because they're near our age, they're in their mid-20s now. And we wanted them to feel like we saw them and like we understood what the show meant to them. And then there are the newer fans, like you said, the 7-year-olds who walk up to us in the street and go, when's the next episode? And we're like, we wrapped 7 years ago.
It's over, kid.
Oh, you're killing dreams.
What do you mean? I'm sorry. And they're like, where's Nora, my 10-year-old friend? And I'm like, she's in her 2nd year of college? Like, what do you mean? And then like, I don't know, you also hope that some random whoever turns on Paramount Plus and has never heard of us and sees the Thundermans is also like, this looks cool and enjoy it. So we really tried to make something that all 3 would have something there for them.
Yeah.
We're going to high school
We get to be around other teenagers.
and get a well-rounded education?
Who cares?
You bring up your siblings on the show, Addison, Diego, and Maya. I mean, that must be so different to be with them now than then, right? I mean, Maya especially, right?
Totally. I mean, we've all grown up a lot, but especially the kids. When I see them, I still see them as those kids,
Yeah.
And it's interesting for me and Kira coming back 6 years later, so I can't imagine how much different it is for them at that age. Having everyone in the movie, like Kira said, was really important. I think for us, for the fans, for the show, the heart, it was a superhero show, but it was really about the family.
So I have some like Thundermans, not Thundermans movie questions, okay? Splatburger mishaps when you're shooting. Anything ever landed like your shirt or like?
Well, sometimes it doesn't work. The special effects, the obviously comes down the tube and stuff.
Which, by the way, health and safety nightmare.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we were able to do that. Even it was a really cool thing, actually.
There's a very funny Splatburger gag in the movie. Funny moment with the tubes where we did something with the tubes that we've never done in the original series that makes me laugh.
So wait, while we're talking about Splatburger, Mrs. Wong's accent is gone, and there's a line in the movie about that. Was that on your list by any chance?
This brings back so many bad memories.
So that came from Helen Hong, the actress. She just felt that it was time. So, Helen was doing an impression of her mother with that accent. She always says that character was like based on her mom with the speech pattern, but she just felt like for 2024 she wanted to change that character and bring it closer to her day-to-day accent. And I think the writers did a really great job of incorporating it.
It's like addressed, and then it's just like, okay, let's move on.
As it should be, just like it's there. This that way we're not treating the kids like they wouldn't notice. That's something that always bothers me in kids shows when writers are like, oh, they're kids, they won't notice. I'm like, they're kids,
No,
they
notice
notice everything.
everything.
So I'm glad that we were able to acknowledge it and then just like, boop, come on.
What is the worst thing that ever happened to you while you were wearing a super suit?
What a great question.
I think being harnessed is pretty bad. That's one thing that pops into my mind. On the movie particularly, there was a scene where I had to be up for maybe 30 minutes or so. The super suits are tough because, I mean, even as a man, it's hard to, like, it's not flattering. We're eating healthy, we're working out. It's a grind. When we were on the show, we would always ask, like, are we in the super suits next week? Like, do we have to,
Can I eat a carb in the next week?
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. In the movie, I know I said to ask you about the series, and I keep asking about the movie, but Max is reading Soups magazine.
Yeah.
And do you guys watch The Boys by any chance? So and it made me think, like, how do you guys think the Thundermans would hang in the world of The Boys? Like, how would that go for them?
I think they'd have their work cut out for them in the world of The Boys. The Boys are pretty badass. But I think we could hang. I have
no idea what show you're talking about. I'm
Oh
so
my
sorry.
goodness, it's okay.
It's another superhero show. It's a really cool superhero.
See,
Very
the
dark
irony is I don't
superhero
watch
show.
anything superhero. I'm a total fraud, total poser.
No, you know what you are, and that's all. That's all.
But
that
look,
matters.
like we said, like the Thundermans, like, yeah, we're superheroes, but like it's always been about the family comedy for me. That's the part that I love. So
I will say it's an interesting point that you bring up the Soups magazine. I think it is cool. Something that we didn't really touch on in the show is that culture. You know what I mean? we're kind of this famous superhero team.
Yeah,
now.
because we were hidden. Like, such a big engine of the original series was being in hiding, and now that we're out in the open, it opens a lot of fun storylines.
Yeah, you know, Max has kind of changed a lot. He's gotten sort of obsessed with this, his Maximillions of followers, and
Just like Jack, right?
yeah, just like me. Art imitates life.
All right, Maxinators, that's today's live stream. Sorry there was so much Phoebe.
The end scene, that tag scene, certainly sets up more, right?
Yeah.
Have there been conversations? What can you tell me? Would you be on board?
All I can say is we would be on board.
We'd love to.
Yeah.
That's all we can say. Watch the movie, everyone. Tell your friends. Like, tweet Paramount Plus and tell them you want more, because that would be great.